To the west we go, and Nic Hayes, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Andrew. I think we're going to talk on a subject that all your listeners, just about all talkback radio is talking about, all newspapers are printing, and all television is broadcasting. It's Schapelle Corby.
Oh, yes, Schapelle. She is centre of attention. I just wonder sometimes, although I got a feeling that the media are overreacting. That frenzy we saw in Bali yesterday was just ridiculous of media. But I just wonder, are the general public, that interested in the case? I would say from the calls I had last night, there were heaps of calls on the topic, but I just wonder, is the intensity worth it as far as the media organisations are concerned?
Well, the frenzy, as you've just described it, it is probably more like a circus. I think
yes.
The media also knows that this is probably one of the biggest stories that is going to play out. It's going to play out in 2014. There's no doubt about it. It is one of the big issues that will be getting a lot of coverage. And
it seems that she's holed up in this spa in Bali now, Schapelle, with the Channel 7 crew. So I thought 9 would have had some sort of dibs on it, but apparently not.
Well, 9's got the had the little series that we all saw last Sunday, and it's getting aired again. It got aired again last night. It's something that they've gone out, and particularly at the start of the TV ratings, they were looking for a big bang for their buck. Now, the news already in. If we're going to go off what ratings are suggesting, then we're not very interested in what's going on with Schapelle at all. Overnight, on Sunday night, the big launch of the Schapelle Corby story, 1 million viewers tuned into Channel 9 to watch it, which I've got to say, I wasn't one of them, Andrew. I had to take research from others to find out what they actually thought of the program. Very, very mixed feelings towards it, and also the production. I mean, there's only so much they can do to create this story. We all know it. We've all seen it in our media. You know, you've over the years, we've picked up women's magazines, and you can see different sites of Schapelle Corby. But the ratings weren't very good for 1 million. That's a pretty good viewing audience. But when
it's not sensational, is it? No.
No, it's not. And when you compare it to what Channel 7 did with the In Excess Never Tear Us Apart miniseries, which will be aired again, I believe, during the week, and also to the second part of it will be aired next Sunday, they got just short of 2 million viewers. So
interesting.
One might suggest that it's not big, but you would see, I mean, we only have to pick up and watch the TV news, the frenzy that has been around what's going on in Bali, obviously released on Monday. We're going to see a lot of this over at least the next couple of weeks until we actually hear her story. But I sense that this might all drop off after that because of the saturation of media that is covering her right now.
Yeah, I can imagine that happening because the public, you talk about them as though there's some, separate entity of people apart from us. But human beings can only take so much of one particular case, or one particular drama.
We can, but we've got to go back to the actual essence of this story. I mean, this woman is a drug smuggler. She has been convicted and put in prison for drug smuggling. I mean, one might actually ask the question, why would anyone smuggle drugs, firstly? Secondly, why would you smuggle drugs into a country that has the death penalty for drugs? And the whole way that this has been treated over the last 10 years, we've been talking about it, we've been waiting for this date, but I sense that once this date has passed and once we've seen a few weeks pass, we'll start seeing a little less of it, and I think for many of us it'll be only too soon.
A blessed relief too. Yes, it may be. How do you feel about, I'll just ask you as a citizen of Australia, how do you feel about Schapelle's guilt or innocence?
Oh, look, she is guilty. I mean, the court of law found her guilty. She's just served 10 years. She's pleaded and she's maintained her innocence right through.
That's what I mean.
This story that was aired last night, or I should say Sunday night, is one that is pretty much damning. I mean, they're suggesting that the father had a lot to do with it, but it doesn't matter. We seem to have this belief in Australia that we seem to put these people who have these sort of either dark backgrounds or illegal backgrounds, and we put them back up on a pedestal, and for some reason treat them like some form of hero. She's a drug smuggler. She's one of Australia's worst exporters. As
well, yes.
I tweeted on the night, you've got one of the greatest Australian music exports that we had in excess aired on Channel 7, and then you've got one of Australia's worst exporters on Channel 9. And I think that audience figures that we saw really did demonstrate that there isn't as much interest in this story. But the media at the moment is in a frenzy, because it is all about the first interview. And once we hear the first interview, which the numbers that have been suggested and going around town that Channel 7, when buying the rights to this, are extremely high and probably one of the highest paid interviews that will ever take place in Australia.
Do you reckon it'll be the million plus?
I think, well, numbers as high as 3.
3?
3 million. And I don't actually believe that. I don't think it's actually worth. I don't think you'll actually get a return on investment there for 3 million. But having said that, I don't think there'll be many programs that will stop and want to hear Schapelle Corby tell it in her own story, tell her own story to the media, and stop and actually view. I think that'll be a very high rating hour, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it might be. But the one thing, Andrew, I think is really important is that Schapelle is still on parole. And when you go away, and she's been advised that you probably shouldn't actually go away and record this interview, because any evidence or anything that you put forward, anything that might be damning towards the Indonesian police or even the legal system, you're still under a parole situation over there in Indonesia. And it's not like the Indonesians can't view a Today Tonight piece. And she's going to have to be very careful with her words and how she goes about it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yes,
she may contravene Indonesian laws. Yes, she'd be well advised to have legal advice before she does any such interview. But as you say, I believe any interview like that, and I assume now it's going to be Channel 7 doing it, any interview like that will actually rate through the roof. Do you agree with me there, Nick?
Totally. Look, it will. And at epic proportions, probably at the size of a sort of an AFL Grand Final type of audience, because it's once you hear her words, I think everything up until now, it's speculation. We're talking about an incident that's been happening over the last 10 years, and we have been watching it from day one. Lots of characters involved, lots of points of view. We're very, very quick. All of us want to put our point of view of whether she's guilty or not. She is guilty. There's no denying it. She's been sitting there in a prison for this period of time. If she was innocent, she'd be out. But there is all that issue there that the death penalty was hanging over her head. And also to the other characters, I mean, the mum, the sister, the father, there was a lot of people that were quite active right through this entire period. And they were never short of a comment in the media. But at the moment, this is all we're talking about. And I think it might be a good time to see this disappear very soon, so we can start talking about the real issues that are happening here in Australia.
I wonder who the Channel 7 interviewer or interviewees are going to be. Interviewers are going to be.
It's suggested that Mike Willesee has been rolled out again. So Mike Willesee is apparently over in Indonesia as we speak. They've got her parked in a very, very nice Bali spa there, and she's catching up with family at the moment. So there's a lot going on over in Bali. I dare say that it'd be pretty hard for some of us to get a hotel room over there at the moment because of all the journalists that are taking up all the rooms.
Probably right. Nick, how do you feel about apparently millions involved for Schapelle coming her way about this? Do you like that? Do you go with it or what? No.
Look, I'm totally against it, and any checkbook journalism that goes on, one always questions the reasoning behind it, and also to the morals of the whole thing. I think if you look back at the days when Mark Brandon Reid, Chopper, used to write his books and put them out and have them printed, and we'll find that a lot of that money that was actually the revenue that was generated by those books was actually sent back to the victims of crime. I just don't believe that you can actually benefit from participating in a crime. This woman's been sitting in a jail in some of the harshest conditions I think that anyone can go through, and I do feel for her in that way.
I think we all do. I mean, that horrible. Have you ever read the book Hotel K or whatever it's called? It's about the jail. It's an atrocious situation.
Oh, look, look, my heart does go out to her on that front, because I don't think there is any place that I would rather be. I don't want to be in any prison or anyone. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, but this particular prison, and it's conditions that not many would ever have to go away and experience, and you wouldn't want them to go through it. Nothing like we have over here in the Australian prison system. But look, I think that anyone that benefits financially from any crime, I don't think that is right. And I think that, and especially the kind of money that we're talking about here, I mean, this is anything between $1 and $3 million.
Oh, I know, it's unbelievable. A life-changing amount of money, isn't it? Really?
Oh, most certainly. And one will say, well, what's this actually done? Does it encourage others to go away and do it? Or why would someone benefit from a crime and walk away with it? I just can't see how we can actually accept that. But it looks as though this is going to happen. And look, I just hope that whatever has been broadcast, whatever goes to air, doesn't actually come back and bite Schapelle on the proverbial, because she will be wanting to say a few things, I dare say. And most definitely, I've worked in the media monitoring industry for a long time. To pick up a tape from Channel 7 is very, very quick and easy. And today, you just only have to go onto the iView stations now. You can see it digitally within 30, 45 minutes of it going to air. It doesn't take long.
No,
very easy to use.
It's an instant world that way. Nic, also, would Channel 7 be wise in perhaps having the interview cut up and edited into, say, maybe over 3 nights or something like that, to try and really make it a ratings whammo?
Yeah, I think they will, but I think there's got to be an impact. There's got to be an impact moment, and it's going to be either their Sunday night program, which I dare say they will use, and maybe do it over 2 nights. I think that there will be a very big moment there for them to present it. You've got to remember, Channel 7, they smashed the ratings on Sunday, and they've done it. They do it well because My Kitchen Rules always gives them great numbers, and hence the In Excess story was probably benefiting from that. But the Sunday night program will be great for them. They might actually do it during the week, which is probably something there that 7 will benefit from. The other big thing for 7, though, particularly over in the eastern states, whether you're in Brisbane, Sydney or Melbourne, 7 tends to struggle when it comes to the evening news time, and it might be something that we might see after the news or before the news. I'm not sure. But I dare say it'll be a Sunday night program. It'll be given time, and they'll probably do it over 2 weeks. But there will have to be an impact, an absolute impact time, where Mike Willesee asks the question, did you do it?
Yes, that's going to be interesting. I didn't realise Mike was involved. Thank you very much, Nic. Always good to talk, and no doubt we'll talk again about that when this program or programs from Channel 7 do emerge.
Let's hope to see the end of this very shortly and start talking about the big issues that are happening around Australia, and put this one to bed.
Thank you very much. Our media man, Nic Hayes, on Australia Overnight.